Hi, Liam Grange here. Got a question today on the forum about this symbol that I use. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to make a video exploring that. What does it mean when there's three rather than two in the yin yang? Well, in Korean they call it Samtaeguk. Sam means three, Taeguk is the Korean version of the Chinese Tai Chi, the Tai Chi 2. We refer to as the yin-yang diagram normally. So it's a diagram with three parts, and it calls to mind chapter 42 of the Lao Tzu. I'll discuss this in another video. The Tao gives birth to the one gives birth to the two give birth to the three, and the three give birth to all things, the 10,000 things. The three often, and in this case, refers to heaven, earth, and man, and this gives us a nice segue into looking at embodied philosophy, what this means for our actual practice. As soon as we start practice, we come to Junbi Sugi, these things come into play. Okay, heaven is this upward principle where I'm pressing the crown up, and it's a feeling of lightness in the top half of my body. Earth is rooting yourself firmly on the floor and letting your weight sink down through the legs in an effective manner, and man or humankind is your center. So these are going to correspond to three parts of the body, and it's an invitation to meditate on those parts of the body, to place your mindful awareness in that part of your body as you stand in Junbi Sugi, meditating, and then as you go on to practice. So with heaven, as I said before, the crown, the Ba Hui point in Chinese. So this should be pressed upwards. That has the effect of opening the neck and helping lengthen the spine, and it gives a lightness. In Taoist texts they talk about it allowing the Shen to rise, the spirit to rise, to be light-hearted, if you like. But it's the important feature is this upwardness and uprightness. So concentrate on this part of the head and connect it in your mind to the heavens. That's the first part of the process. The second part of the process would be the feet, and what's very important is rooting through the correct part of the foot. If you put your weight through your heel, you are going to overbalance yourself backwards, and you're denying yourself the springiness which the ankle joint gives. So when you're positioned properly, you have the springiness of the ankle joint, the springiness of the knee joint, and the springiness of the hip joint, all working to give the ability to take force into the ground and to issue force out of the ground. All of your techniques, the power comes from the ground. So this starts right from the beginning of your practice when you're standing in Junbi Sugi. And the part that you should be rooting through, if you'll excuse my somewhat grubby feet, is that part there. Okay, kidney point 1, the bubbling well. So you don't root through the toes. You don't want to be leaning so far forward that you're having to scrunch the ground with your toes, and you don't want to be rooting through the heels, which will lose you a lot of stability and also a lot of springiness. So that's what we mean by earthiness. Combined with that is sinking the hips, but we'll leave that for another video. The third point, the man or humankind would be a better way of putting it, is the danjian. The Chinese call the lower dantian. So this is a point about 3 finger widths below your navel, and it's your center of gravity. So it's the point at which all coordinated movement must come from. And when you meditate on it, you should see it as a point about this big, and if you're doing breathing exercises, as you breathe in it expands, as you breathe out it contracts. It's important to not think of it as at the front of the belly, but to be right in the center. Now what this means practically is the dantian can be referred to that little point, or it can actually refer to the whole of the lower abdomen, because the lower abdomen is the power pack, is all of these muscles working together are going to power your movement, and coordinated movement must use these core muscles at the back, at the front, and the front of the hips, all working in a coordinated fashion. So as you're doing any of your Taekwondo practice, you can meditate on these three things: heaven, earth, and man. And that will allow you to deepen your practice. It'll allow you to make sure that you're getting your posture correct for maximum martial efficiency, and it will add an extra depth to your practice, hopefully. Give it a go, nothing to lose. Take care.